All right, we got done seeing what I'm assuming is the final entry in the Fast and Furious series, and I've only seen 5, 6, and 7, which you have only 2. Is this your only Fast and Furious film from beginning to end you've seen?
Yeah. Beginning to end.
So, every time I watched one, I always thought that was so over the top. They could not possibly top it. And they did it again and again, and what a way for this series to go out. If you liked the other Fast and Furious movies, you are going to love this. If you hate them, this is probably not going to change your opinion on them.
No.
But it's just as stupid and over the top, actually more over the top than the other ones.
Ridiculous.
But it's still a lot of fun. To me, it's dumb fun done right. This is I realize this halfway through this movie. These movies are everything that a Michael Bay film should be, but is not.
Okay.
It is everything that the Transformers movies should be, but aren't. It does it right. Transformers does not do it right. This does it right. I mean, I'm not saying these are the best action films ever, far from it, but they're a lot of fun. And let me tell you something. Jason Statham is
I love him.
Currently my favorite villain of the year.
He was great.
He was so awesome. From the opening scene with him, with the credits and everything, and just everything was just so great.
You're just waiting and begging for him to come back onto the screen. Like, you want the scenes with him.
And he keeps showing up. What's great about this movie is that he literally just keeps showing up in scenes where he really has no reason to be there, but he shows up with a gun and he tries to kill Vin Diesel.
So you're trying to say that this movie may not make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. It's a stupid sense. So we're going to do things a little bit different. There's really no point in going over the plot because it's Fast and Furious. You want your short, brief review. It's just like, it's pretty much on the same level of all the other ones. And with that said, I like the other ones. I liked this one. I thought it's more over the top. And I thought it was a fun way to cap off cap off the whole series, the 7th entry. And Jason Statham was a great villain. And I thought, on a more serious note, before we get into the meat of this, on a more serious note, I really liked the resolution because the very ending of the film is basically this very respectful send-off to Paul Walker. And it was actually done very nicely, I thought.
I agree.
For a movie that's very silly and over the top, they actually paid a lot of respect to Paul Walker. And if you are, I've only seen 5, 6, and 7, but if you have been a long-time fan of this series and you started back when the first one came out, which was, 10 years ago maybe? It's been a long time.
They looked young as heck.
Yeah. You know what? This would be a great, tribute to that. It is a great tribute to that. So, on a more serious note, if you're wondering, they did a really good job paying respect to Paul Walker. And also, on another note, if you're wondering, they did a really good job with the editing there. I was not sure what scenes were digitally done with him. Granted, I wasn't paying that much attention to it. Maybe if you really pay attention to it. But
the part where he pulls up next to him when he's sitting at the
that looked a little...
That you could tell that was digital.
That was a little, little...
It was still well enough done for this
Sure.
No, it was.
Yeah, sure. So, that's really Fast and Furious 7 in a nutshell. It's another fun entry and, in my opinion, at least a pretty fun way to capitalize on the whole series and just put a cap to it. Would you... Opinions differ on how you felt. Would you overall agree with that, though? Like, it's a pretty fun way to end it. So, So we got that. So now let's do something a little different. Let's just, instead of going over the plot, let's just talk about the things that we loved about this movie. The times that we went, wow, for good or bad. And let's just talk about things we want to talk about. So, who wants to start? From here on out, spoiler alert, possibly.
So. No, spoiler alert. But it doesn't matter because there's...
Okay.
It's a Fast and Furious
I think
movie.
anything The Rock did, it was all like,
absolutely,
wow!
Right? He is what drew me into this series, because the first one he did was Fast 5, and I originally had no interest in watching those movies, but when Fast 5 came out, everyone was like, dude, this is Dwayne's amazing like moment. Like this was like his time to shine as an actor truly and show that he is charismatic and he is awesome and he's not just like a joke like, oh, just another wrestler turned actor. Like he is actually awesome in these movies. And so I checked out Fast Five and I was like, Dwayne Johnson stole that movie and he steals every single one of them. I agree. Unfortunately, he kind of gets Expendables 3'd here with kind of like with Terry Crews.
Yeah.
He shows up at the beginning and then he kind of drops out, but then comes back at the end. It was still really fun.
Yeah.
The Jason Statham versus Dwayne Johnson fight was awesome.
It was.
And it is in the trailer, so this isn't a big giveaway, but when he does the rock bottom on Jason Statham through the table, that was sick.
Yeah, that was cool.
And we'll get to what he does at the ending in a minute.
I liked how that fight started too, where he walks back in, Statham's at his computer, and he's like, you better be one of the IT guys. And Jason Statham's like, 1 minute.
Statham is just 1 minute.
So great.
Oh, what do you want to talk about?
Just go on.
Dude, let's talk about it now. Let's talk about the buildings.
No.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it now. This is in the trailer, but you don't see it all. So, in the trailer, you see the car literally fly out of one building and into another. Now, you might be wondering, if you haven't seen the movie yet, how does that happen? Would you like to explain?
No.
Okay, I'll explain. So they need information that's stored in this car, and this car is locked up in a vault, like 40 stories up in a building, and it's a priceless car. Only 7 are made in the world, and Paul Walker's talking about how great this car is, and Paul Walker's like, man, this is one of the greatest cars ever, and this guy's got locked up in a vault. And Vin Diesel says, it's like putting a beast and putting him in a cage. That was a dumb enough line as it was. That was a very Vin Diesel-esque line.
Oh, he has a lot of Vin Diesel-esque lines in this movie.
Yeah. If you love Dominic Toretto's terrible lines, you'll get a lot of them in this movie. And so, basically, bad guys find out that they're breaking into this car, and they're like, crap, we got no way to get out of here, but we need this car. And so then Vin Diesel says, nope, the dumbest line of the movie, and that's saying a lot. He says, it's time to let the beast out of the cage. And he floors it! And the car goes out the window! No, first there's a fight.
It goes through the wall of a vault and doesn't get damaged. And then it goes out the window.
No. After joust with Jason Statham.
You're right. So let's rewind. Then you're right. So he drives through the wall. They're in this dance hall, and Jason Statham just at the nick of time shows up.
That was when he comes out of the elevator
with an awesome entrance.
Because I was like, is that? And you were like, it's Statham. I was like,
like the elevator doors open and we see feet and we see like the tip of an assault rifle. I'm like yes, it's Statham. And then it slowly, it's Statham. And it's Statham. So yeah, as you said, jousting with Statham. And then he realizes he has nowhere to go, so he flies out the window, just like in the trailer. And thanks to Statham's grenade launcher, it gives him a little push and helps him go further into the building. But we're not done. See, that's only what the trailer showed you. So, he goes into the other building successfully. Paul Walker and Vin Diesel are like, wow, we did it! But wait, the brakes aren't working. The brakes aren't working, so the car
That's
won't
why
stop.
you have an emergency brake.
Yeah, I was wondering, when Paul was reaching for that thing, I mean, I guess he was getting the information they needed. I was like, is he reaching for the emergency brake?
No, because that would make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they can't brake the car, and they're certainly not going to just jump out of the car. So then, not again, bam, out the window
That's exactly what I
again.
said.
And
Sitting in that seat going, oh no, they're gonna do it again.
and they go through another freaking building. And then they get the information they need and abandon the car before it falls out the building and miraculously does not kill anybody in the process.
Yep. And nobody asked them any questions afterwards.
Yeah, they all left those buildings I mean, we never really found out what happened to Ronda Rousey. I mean, she landed on that. She got
knocked out.
She landed on that piano, but so did Michelle Rodriguez, and she seemed to be doing okay. And no offense to Michelle Rodriguez, but out of the two, I'm guessing Ronda's the tougher one. So since she's only the deadliest woman in the world. But so let's talk about that. Something that I liked. I liked Ronda Rousey in this movie. No shock. She's only in one scene.
It was okay, but I think she was kind of miscast as like a Arabian bodyguard.
I don't think she was supposed to be Arabian because she had no accent. I think she was just hired by...
She speaks Arab, though.
I didn't notice any accent. Oh, she speaks Arab, but that's...
Very poorly, by the way.
but well, she is a fighter, not an actor. but I think she's one of the better fighter-turned-actors for the record. Mm-hmm. I mean...
You're also very biased towards that, though, because you like her a lot.
I like her a lot, but that aside, I think she was very charismatic in Expendables 3. Uh-huh. I thought she cut a very brief but awesome...
I'm saying she wasn't bad. I'm just saying the way they cast her was kind of weird.
It was, well, the location was weird.
Okay, sure.
Whatever. But what matters is that she fights Michelle Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. And it was a good fight. Yeah. I loved... Ronda's got, like... And any good fighter should have this when you're trying to talk tough and all. Ronda, on one hand, can look very charming and cute, but when she looks pissed off, she is terrifying. Like, she is so intimidating. And so, like, when she sees Michelle Rodriguez, like, sneaking off that, like, look that she has, I loved it.
Kind of scared me a little bit.
I know. It's like, I'm terrified, but this is awesome. I do hope she continues to do more movies if I'm sure people are offering it to her if she's willing to do more movies, if she wants to do more movies. I would love to see her do more of that. And I don't know if she's quite ready to be a lead, but to continue doing supporting roles, I think would be great. So I liked that. What was something else you would like to talk about?
Well, I found all the fights entertaining. I mean, they were off the wall ridiculous, but you know, you get in some of these movies, in my opinion, and you got all this fighting, and some of it's like, oh, just get it over with. But I think in this movie, every fight was awesome.
Exactly. And you know something, man? That's why these fight scenes do not bug me as much as they should. This should... I should be getting angry when I watch these movies like I do with Transformers and all that. Here's why. They're not boring. As stupid as they are, they're not boring. And here's the other thing, too, that I kind of realized. When I was watching the Tony Jaa Paul Walker fight, the second one, the last one, I was like, you know something? Every movie should try to do a few things, if not at least one thing that has never been done before in a movie. Like, have at least one memorable thing, even if it's a bad movie, to say, well, you know what? No other movie did that before. Gotta give them that. And these movies they have that mindset for action scenes. They're like, what ridiculous thing have you never seen before in a movie? Like, like in all of these movies that we could list off every action scene in all these movies. But as stupid as they are, you can't say you've seen that before in a movie.
Yeah.
And maybe you could of course argue, yeah, you've never seen that before because it's stupid, but but at least it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
At least it's fun. You would say there were some action scenes you enjoyed, right? It wasn't all just...
I liked the Rock Statham fight a lot. That was probably one of my favorites. That was really cool. And then the first fight between Paul Walker and
Tony Jaa
in the bus
Yeah.
was really cool too.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to point that out. I'm pretty sure this is Tony Jaa's American debut, and if you don't know, he is a Chinese martial arts actor. He's been doing Chinese movies for a pretty long, maybe 5-6 years now. He's still a pretty young guy.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in more stuff.
I love his work. Check out a couple of these are on Netflix. Check out Ong Bak, and the American title is called The Protector. Quentin Tarantino brought it to America, and the American title is called The Protector. They're not very good movies, to be frank, and the plots for those movies are stupid. But those movies have some of the most mind-blowingly amazing fight choreography you will ever see, and this guy is jaw-droppingly good. Like, this guy is the future of martial arts movies. Well, he's the present and the future of martial arts movies. This guy and Scott Adkins and a few other guys off the top of my head. So I'm so glad that he's finally doing American films. I hope he continues to get well casted, maybe bigger roles. And, he can be this generation's, Jackie Chan. He can be this generation's big martial arts guy that blows Americans away. So, yeah, I loved him in the small role he was in. What else?
So much stupid stuff, but whatever. But, what's his name? The Special Forces guy.
Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell! Yes!
Let's talk about Kurt Russell.
I didn't know how big of a role Kurt Russell was going to have in this movie. I thought maybe it was just going to be a cameo. But he's in it for a decent amount, and he's having fun. It's Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
I love this guy. He only gets a little bit of action. At one point, he pulls out 2 pistols and shoots up a few guys, and that was kind of cool. I would have loved it if they made like some kind of Escape from New York reference. Maybe he would have an Uzi, or maybe like he gets shot in the eye or something and he has an eye patch on for the rest of the movie. Something like that. That would have been just so like great.
Yeah.
But Kurt Russell's great. A lot of the dialogue, like the banter between him and Vin Diesel was pretty funny. Their whole beer conversation was pretty funny that they keep having. I was expecting the entire film for Kurt Russell to turn on them. Like, it just felt like this character is a character that's pretending to help the good guys, but then halfway through the film, it turns out he's a bad guy. They never did that.
No, which I'm glad they
I'm
did.
glad they did that too. I'm glad they kept him a good guy. That was nice.
Can we talk about Statham and Vin Diesel's final fight where they are sword fighting with wrenches and pieces
Okay.
of rebarb?
Let's just attempt to go over the bullet points of this climax.
The majesty of it.
So, on one hand, you have most of the crew driving around the city while a jet.
Oh god, that
goes
reminds me
after
of the
them.
switch scenes. No!
While Jet is after all of them, because there's one person they're after, and the crew in multiple cars is literally playing hot potato with this person by switching her into other cars while the jet is after them trying
It's
to
a
blow up their cars.
helicopter.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a okay.
Oh,
There
well,
was a
you're talking about the
drone as
drone.
well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we won't bother going too into detail about it,
No, please
but
don't.
it's something. So you got that going on. And then you got, and this is kind of mixed with that, but then you got Paul Walker fighting Tony Jaa. And then you have Dwayne Johnson. Oh, that's right. I'm in this movie. He finally decides to leave the hospital.
Daddy's got to go to work.
And in his hospital room, he's got his gun, his armor, and a minigun. And so,
No, he doesn't have the minigun in the hospital.
where is it?
It
In the ambulance?
no, it falls off the drone.
falls off the
'cause
drone.
He crashes into it.
Oh, I
Remember?
thought.
Yeah.
Oh,
He jumps the ambulance and hits
well,
the drone.
I know he hit the drone. I thought he already had the minigun.
Oh,
on
no,
him.
he pulled it off the drone.
I would have liked a lot more if he had that in the hospital. But, okay, so Dwayne Johnson's like, Daddy's got to go to work. So he, I love the brief.
Which, by the way, okay, that would be so hard to break a cast with your own arm.
Well,
that-
any human being, but this is The Rock we're talking about.
The Rock. Come on.
The Rock! Do you even smell what The Rock is cooking? So anyways,
back to
the
the
Rock
movie.
then gets in this huge ambulance and is trying to catch up to the car chases. The bad guys send a drone after Michelle Rodriguez, And
It's kind of
they're-
following them the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, but at this point, it's specifically going after Michelle Rodriguez, and it's firing missiles at her, and they're in a tunnel, and then
Which,
they're-
by the way, okay, I love how the first two cars that it shot a missile at, as soon as the car got hit with the missile, it was completely destroyed. But then when it shoots at Michelle Rodriguez's, it hits the back of it, and the car can still run.
yeah,
Like, it barely even gets hurt.
yeah.
Are you saying that
Well-
doesn't happen?
Are you saying?
You know, I'm just going to stop
Are you
talking.
saying this is inconsistent?
You know, just
So, I love how out of frame you are for this review, because you're so mad. So, they get out of the tunnel, and the anticipation is building, and the drone is about to finally kill Michelle Rodriguez and blow up her car, and then all of a sudden we cut to Dwayne Johnson in the ambulance going, "Ah!" And he is from the top of the tunnel and crashes over and lands directly on the drone, saving Michelle Rodriguez and gaining a minigun in the process.
That's how you do it.
So meanwhile, while all of this is going on, because that's not enough climax for you, we then get the final Jason Statham Vin Diesel fight on top of a parking garage, and it's a street fight where the two have, were they wrenches?
He had a wrench and a socket wrench. He had a socket
Okay.
wrench and a regular wrench. And Statham had two pieces of his windshield like rebarb.
And so they both stand there for a second, and then the two start charging, and then as if this is straight out of a 300 movie.
Yeah.
It is playing choir music in the background, like as if this is an epic, like, "Ah!" And in slow motion the two jump up in the air,
And they start sword fighting.
and they start sword fighting.
And it's awesome.
And it's amazing. It actually is very well choreographed. And Statham did some awesome stuff here, as he always does. And it's a really fun fight. Gotta be honest, not a big fan of the finish. With how
Yeah.
he defeats Statham. Kind of lame.
Yeah, that was.
Won't go into it, but it's kind of
well,
disappointing.
it just proves that he can move the earth.
Yes, well, he is Vin Diesel. He is Riddick. So,
I've never seen those movies.
actually, I haven't either.
Very long. Very
Really?
long.
So, anything else we want to talk about that we haven't talked about already?
So much.
I think we should leave the rest to the imagination. I mean,
The only things we haven't talked about are the dialogue scenes.
Just one more thing, okay? After the whole ridiculous chase to get the girl from the bus, okay, and
Which is in the trailer,
not the whole scene though, but
but
anyway.
the main parts of
Yeah,
it.
but Vin Diesel gets away, but then gets trapped on the thing. How he gets away?
Let's not spoil it. Let's leave that one away. How he gets away is so redunculous.
It doesn't matter how many roll cages you have.
The amount of
You're dead.
The amount of cheats that you would have into your Grand Theft Auto game would still say, nope, nope,
yeah,
you're dead.
that's a really good way to put it.
And like maybe I'm too stupid to understand, but before he does what he does to get away, I don't want to spoil it. Why does he go around in a circle a few times and get all that dust up? What's the whole point of that?
He waits for it to
because like I was thinking that he was like trying to get cover up or whatever, but then he waits for it to go away before he does the thing.
You better put on your helmet.
looks around for it and just pulls it up.
She's like, oh, this. What? Was he planning?
Okay.
I would ask,
Okay.
was he planning on doing that the whole
Can I
time?
just say, like, I know how
I'm gonna take
I know how you said that like these movies do everything right that the Transformers do wrong, but can I say it did bother me that like, okay, let's go get this hacker person. Oh, wait, it's a really attractive woman.
Okay, we can go into that.
That
This-
bothered me.
You know,
and
this
you know,
was
there was a lot like in 6 it wasn't as bad, but there's a lot of hey, let's go to this car rally and look at all these
Yeah.
hot chicks.
It's very Fast and Furious-esque, definitely. And it's also very Transformers, too. Yeah, you know, it's really, I find it so bizarre that James Wan is the one directing this film, since he mostly makes more serious movies, especially horror movies. That's his main thing. He's a horror director, in my opinion, one of the best horror directors in Hollywood right now. And this was just such a big change for him. And while, again, I thought it was a really fun movie, it really doesn't look that any different, really, than the Justin Lin ones or any of the other entries, because it has the same cinematography style to it, and it's very much, like you said, it's shots of girls' butts. You get a lot of butt shots, a lot of panty shots. Lots of them. Because it's PG-13.
Lots of girls dancing.
Lots of girls twerking while twerking at race car shows. Yeah. I joked about this with you.
And the whole twist with the hacker just bothered me.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Well, whatever. Okay, is there anything else we want to talk about? I think we've covered just about all the main things. It's Fast and Furious, dudes. If you like those movies...
It went by really fast, and it made me furious.